Feminists don't want to do the work. They just want to steal men's shit. You see this everywhere. What do the winning people who achieve big things do? Do you see them whinging about how the world's unfair, how they're oppressed, how they need to remove the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah? Do you see people that achieve great things talking like this? I've never seen it. What I see people that achieve great things say are things like, do the work. Embrace the suck. Everyone has problems. Fucking get over it. Get out of bed in the morning. Go to work. Get the shit done. Figure out what the shit is. Figure out how to make it better. Not whinging about, oh, you're disadvantaged. Everyone's disadvantaged in some way. Black Lives Matter is the same. Oh, look how oppressed we are because we're black. Oh, it's slavery. Oh, no. Oh, there's no clear end condition. There's no, right, Black Lives Matter want this. When this is done, we'll stop protesting. No, it's a perpetual, endless whinge, complaint, moaning. It's just moaning. This isn't an action-oriented, solution-oriented way of thinking. And this is all coming from the left. Feminists, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all whinging. If you, and this makes sense because the kind of people that are action-oriented, the kind of people that are outcome-oriented, they'll say, right, I want to start a company that does X and I want to make this much money. And they get to work and they do it. People that are losers, who are never going to achieve anything in their life, they'll sit around going, it's not fair. Or did you fucking wake up at 7 o'clock this morning? Did you stay at work until 10 p.m.? Did you work 6 or 7 days a week trying to build your own business and get that money? No, you fucking didn't. You just want the money. You don't want to do the work. This is feminism. This is Black Lives Matter. This is Antifa. Instead of actually trying to be successful, they just moan and complain and get up at midday. What do feminists say? If you're a fucking woman in the West, there is nothing stopping you doing anything you want. You can start a business. You can do any profession. Women go to university in far higher numbers than men, and that's only increasing because of the completely feminized education system we now have in the West. It's a matriarchal society if you live in the West and you're female. You have all the advantages. And you even have the advantage of trying to trick people into thinking it's a patriarchal society. It isn't. It's a matriarchal society. Biased towards women. It's also biased towards blacks all over the fucking place through institutionalized racism against whites and institutionalized sexism against men. Women have all the advantages. But do you hear feminists just getting off their ass and achieving big things? Name some feminists who fucking achieved anything that's not directly connected to feminism. None of them have. None of them do. It's just bullshit. They whinge about how unfair life is. Even if life is unfair, just fucking do something. Stop whinging. Am I whinging about how life is unfair? No. I'm just pointing out a double standard. I do get up very early every day. I work very hard to achieve my goals. But feminists don't do that. They just fucking whinge about how unfair shit is. And the fact is, it is unfair in their fucking favour. Any time there's any advocacy group that doesn't have clearly stated aims and a clearly stated end goal, like feminism, you cannot trust it. They're grifters. They're trying to get advantage for themselves. They're trying to get money. They probably don't really give a fuck about the cause. The cause probably isn't even a cogent cause anyway. You cannot trust what they say. And they're just fucking losers who don't do anything except whinge about how unfair life is. No one who just continually whinged about how unfair life was has ever fucking achieved anything. Get off your ass. Have an actual end goal. This is the main problem. Even if you do think that there's unfairness towards women that needs to be fixed, stop fucking whinging about it. Get off your... Have an end goal. Right. We need to... I mean, there's very few end goals feminists can get now because women are outpacing men at every level of education, for example. But let's say you think, and they've done this in Scandinavia, okay, company boards should be 50% female. That's horrific because that's equality of outcome, not the quality of opportunity. There's probably much more qualified men that could be on those boards, and it's a sexist, ridiculous policy. But let's say that's right. Okay, once we get this, then we're good. That's not what feminists do. They'll get 50% women on boards, unqualified women who are just there because they have a vagina, on boards in Scandinavia, and then they'll move on to something else. Like, when does it end? What is your end goal? I mean, okay, 60% university attendance as female, it'll be like 80% in 20 years. Is that an end goal? Does that prove to you that you don't need feminism anymore? Women out earning men 2-1, would that be? Like, what is your fucking goal here? What are we doing here? Or is your job just to be a feminist and discriminate against men? Like, what are we doing here? Same with Black Lives Matter. What does the end goal look like? They can't even fucking articulate exactly what the problem is. Oh, it's unfairness, institutionalized racism. Okay, what do you mean by institutionalized racism? Tell me the exact problem. Tell me how you think you're going to fix it, and tell me what the victory looks like. If you can't do that, you're a grifter. You're A, not going to achieve anything because you don't have any aims, and B, you're probably just trying to get money, and you know you can't achieve anything. You don't actually even want to achieve anything. If you can't articulate what you want to achieve, you're not going to achieve it. So what are you doing here? Well, you're doing something else. You're not actually trying to improve the situation for women or blacks. What you're doing is you just like protesting for protesting's sake. You like being contrarian. And a lot of people along the way are making cash. There's people in big corporations all over the world now making bank, making green money. There's the diversity shakedown industry is in full effect all over big corporations. There's diversity departments, there's diversity officers, which just basically fuck whites officers, fuck men officers, in every big company now. And the way the diversity shakedown industry works is this. You go to a big corporation, you say, oh, you don't have many blacks here, get some more blacks in. Big corporation says, oh, we hire based on merit. Oh, sexist, we're going to release some reports saying GlaxoSmithKline is super sexist unless you give us money and get us inside your organization. This is what the diversity shakedown industry has done all over Silicon Valley. This is what they've done all over every big corporation in the world pretty much now. It's a massive conflict of interest, and they're using the ist and ism stick to hit these companies. Which company wants to be called racist? Even if they're not, which probably most of them aren't at all, that could seriously damage your share price. It could lower your profits. So, of course, you just give in. Then you've invited the cancer inside the heart of your organization. What companies should do is resist this by having very clear policies, hiring policies that say, we do not discriminate based on race and gender in hiring. We hire the best person. Cover your ass extremely well in that way. And if you get attacked, say, reply cleverly. So, oh, you don't have many black people. Well, we've interviewed rigorously. Here's the evidence for these positions. We picked the best person. The best person wasn't black in most cases. And why might that be? Well, blacks have, on average, lower level of education. Why is that? Well, that's down to societal reasons. That's down to socioeconomic factors within the black community, such as black fathers leaving the family much more often than other races. Single parent families are orders of magnitude more likely to produce criminal kids. These are just facts. Of course, it's very difficult for companies to say this, but these are just facts. Companies should defend themselves in a way, you don't exactly have to say that, but where they can prove they chose the best person, even maybe dabbling in blind hiring might be worth doing here. Companies can cover themselves in a way that they can't give in to the gender shakedown industry, the racial shakedown industry. Well, the problem is, once they're in your company, then you are fucked. You are never going to get them out. They're just going to expand. The diversity department exists like cancer to get in there and expand. They will start running your company. Everyone in your company will become cowed and will become afraid to say or do anything that might ever be conceived to be racist. You're going to also miss out on good staff who, according to extremist, leftist, incorrect people in your company, oh, they said something 8 years ago that it may be interpreted to be racist on Facebook. Fuck you. That's not proof. If you're calling someone racist, you need extraordinary evidence. That's weak evidence. Once these people are in your companies, you're fucked. And these people are in almost every company now. If you have a company that doesn't have a diversity department, fucking resist it. But you've got to be prepared. You've got to get those defenses in place. Because once they're in, they're going to start growing and taking over your organization like a cancer. Enforced diversity in companies is a cancer. Protect yourself, but resist. But coming back to the point, the message of feminists is always, oh, we're so impressed. It's never, women, get off your fucking ass and do the fucking work, like the men who win do. Men who win because they do the fucking work. Where are the feminists out there who are encouraging women to do the same thing? I've never fucking heard them. Why don't they exist? This would be a very positive message for women to hear. Stop fucking whinging, get off your ass, get out of bed at 6 a.m, and just do the fucking work. Get it done. Then you can compete with the men. And this is what women who win in business and in other areas, women who excel in their career, this is what they do. They do the fucking work. But why isn't this a feminist message? It's a mystery.
This was the Deviant Developer Podcast. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com. Thanks for listening.